The NUAcT provides excellent chance to set up your own research profile. You are the person in charge of your idea.
Not being able to settle down, do your research and explore research questions. It's the freedom and the opportunity to have the chance to explore things more fully and to sort of shoot off in different directions.
Yeah, so as a researcher, I'm really just, I guess, a cog in a big wheel. But in coming in and doing what we're doing, it's incredibly exciting. At any one point, I know something that has never been known in the history of humankind, and by doing the NUAcT Fellowship, it's given me a long-term contract, the longest contract I've ever had, so where I can really dive into some of this research and begin to answer quite difficult questions, really complex puzzles. But in this time frame, I think it's feasible that we're going to make a real difference. So the NUAcT Fellowship has been designed with this particular individual in mind that is about to transition towards their independence. And so the scheme has been really developed to facilitate that. That is providing consumable salary in students to maximise the individual's chances of being successful. But then you're not left alone to do this. We talk about independence, but there's definitely more of a nurturing towards this. So you're given mentors, you're giving training workshops that are dedicated to where you will be at your career stage. And so there's other schemes, there's other 5-year fellowships, but I feel like the way this one has been developed, it's really focused on the PI and developing the PI, and it gives us the best platform, I think, possible for us to go on to be successful.
One thing that is different about NUAcT is this big focus on having a cohort of fellows from different disciplines and explicitly organising events and networking opportunities. And to me that's really important because I engage with a lot of other disciplines in my work already, but I don't necessarily get the opportunity to meet and talk to people from other disciplines in the same way as I do historians. So I think NUAcT has that kind of built in. I also think it has built in this sense that you might meet someone and they might say something and that might send your own research off in a completely different path, so you don't necessarily know exactly what you're going to get out of it.
The university values the cohort of NUAcT fellows very much. That makes me feel the university really wants me to grow into a fully rounded member of academic, and that makes me feel that I am being highly valued here, and I have given such a chance, and I will here to build my career, and hopefully I will be a permanent member of the university. That makes me feel really, really good. How to say? Make me feel at home.